I'm changing the system.
Hello. Yeah, well, it's time. I think I'm a minute late. I have to apologize for not turning up in time. So, real quick, we used to have an African time before we kickstart this event because we believe people join late generally. That's why we call it African time. And we are talking about Africa today. But, anyways, I can see a number of people, a significant number of people in the meeting. We are going to start right away. So, thank you so much for joining the listeners and the speakers too. I welcome each and every one of you. Each and every one of you is here to make a significant difference. So, today we are going to talk about the topic. Um, excuse me. Yes, here we are. Africa Blueprint for Success, Harnessing Tech Skills in 2024. I will repeat, Africa Blueprint for Success, Harnessing Tech Skills in 2024. So before we even get to start talking about this topic, somebody is interrupting. So please, yeah, keep your mics mute. Keep your mics mute, please. Thank you so much. So before we get to start, I would like to briefly tell us why this topic in the first place and explain what exactly the topic means. We see, if you look at Africa as a continent, or if we look at us as a people, I think I should start there. We have unique culture and belief sets based on where we come from. So Africa as a whole, if you look at are Africans are somehow different from other people from other parts of the country. Why? Because number one, we are in Africa. Number two, we have our own cultures and way of life and beliefs, and those things shape our unique opportunities and our challenges. So if Africans have our own unique opportunities and challenges. Europe have their own opportunities and challenges, and any other place in the world have their own unique set of opportunity and challenges. Then there is a need for blueprints that will fit our own unique opportunities and challenges. And that's why we bring about this topic, Africa Blueprint for Success. What is the blueprint that we can put in place which will perfectly fit into this African unique opportunities and challenges in a way that we will succeed in the tech ecosystem? That's the first part of the topic. And the second part says harnessing tech skills in 2024. So, what are we going to do today? We are going to explore the tech skills we have in the world in 2024. And based on the blueprint we have in place for Africa, we will see which ones are possible for us to implement or which ones are most suitable for us to implement. And that's exactly what we are going to do today. But without any further ado, let me just dive right into it by letting the panelists or the speakers introduce themselves really quickly and then tell us about their expertise and as well how their expertise has shaped Africa in any big or small way. So I would like to quickly start with Zara. Please, Zara, if you are here, I would like you to unmute your mic. Zara Alkali is one of the speakers. Please introduce yourself and say whatever fall in place. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ahmed, for welcoming me. I'm Zara Alkali, a human resource specialist, and I'm thrilled to be here to speak on harnessing skills for Africa's growth. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a human resource specialist, and what I can say my skills have been able to impact Africa as a whole is the ability of me to be able to connect skilled talent to organization. Based on my experience, I've worked with both local and international organizations, connecting them with both tech and non-tech talent to achieve their talent solution problem. So far, I'm more inclined in the HR aspect. I've also dabbled in data analyst, which I also use to boost my work process and work efficiently. So I can also call myself a data analyst also. So thank you so much, Amin. You may continue.
Yeah, thank you. I was looking for the unmute button and I was looking somewhere different. I don't even know why I'm kind of confused today. Probably because, um, I'm kind of late. So that's why it's very important to come in early and get everything in order before you start. Yeah, real quickly, I want to move to Moses. Happy Moses, you are welcome. Please unmute yourself and tell us about you. Happy Moses. Moses, are you here? Our second panelist, we are summoning for you if you can hear us. Or are you having technical issues? Oh wow, I think he's having network problem. He just joined. Moses, you are welcome. Moses, getting rocked. The environment is very, very noisy. We can barely hear you.
Okay, so like I said, my name is Moses Uchin, the CEO and co-founder of Mexico.
Hello, can you hear
So
me?
how
Can
do
you
you
hear
guys
me,
start up?
Moses? Hello, Moses. We are having difficulty hearing you. Your background is very noisy and you are getting rocked. I don't know if it's network problem or the environment.
Just, just,
Moses, can you hear me? Moses just left the meeting. I believe Moses is having difficulty connecting with network and he's back. So please unmute yourself. Let's see if it's better now. Yeah, Moses, you can talk.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, okay, fine. Sorry for that. I think I joined the meeting twice. So yeah. So my name is Moses Uchin, CEO and co-founder Investor Farm. Okay, so my name is Moses Ochieng, CEO and co-founder Investor Farm. How did I start out in tech? So I've basically been a software engineer. So I graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science, and then went directly into software development. So I was a software engineer for a company in Tanzania. I did most of my work on the back end side of things, built products for the company. Uh, Worked there for about 2 years before moving on to become a database instructor at an organization called Powerland Project. So after Powerland Project, then I went on to like start my own startup, and yeah, I have worked on one startup before, and then moved on to the next one, which is Investor Firm. Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to be here.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. That was wonderful and short and brief. So thank you, yeah, for respecting the time. So the next thing I want to talk about with you all is I want us to start by having an overview of what the tech landscape is in Africa. So how do we do this? I want to ask each and every one of you a question. I want to start with you, Moses. I want you to tell me the current state of tech skills in Africa. We want you to give us a snapshot from your own personal experience. You have had this startup and you've worked with people from different part of the country and Africa specifically. So through your lens, we want to have a snapshot of what the tech skills state is in Africa.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about this in two ways. Number one is in terms of what the university has offered us. So in terms of different tertiary institutions. So with that, I would say we are still down, or we're still behind in terms of technology as a whole. So in terms of newer products coming into the market, it's slightly different from what we actually know. So in most universities, the learning is mostly theory and all that. But with tech skills, there's a lot more than the theory bit. There's always staying up to date with everything, and we are seeing that coming up and that posing a challenge for most graduates in the job market, because not so many people are getting the job opportunities right after finishing university. So people have probably to go for their masters, or people have to be enrolled in tertiaries, in other institutions to get at least what is needed in the market. So that's as far as schooling is concerned in terms of creating uh, tech graduates to the market. But in terms of the tech that's available, so I believe we're experiencing the fourth industrial revolution in Africa and even in the world. And the fourth industrial revolution is more of like into technology. And with technology, there is Web3. So Web3 is all about AI, the blockchain, and all those other technologies. So in Africa, I believe we are greatly positioned, as much as we don't have the resources, but we're greatly positioned to actually be more of like at the forefront of making most of the technologies rather than being technology consumers. So this is in relation to the products we're going to build to solve the different challenges. If you look at the products we would build in Africa and the products probably that would be needed in the US, the markets are slightly different. So in Africa, there's a lot of opportunity to like use tech to like change uh, and even improve the services that we have. And then also in terms of the acquisition of it, it's improving. So we're having more institutions coming up and implementing tech either in schools, or they're just third-party institutions. So probably the likes of ALX, the likes of Moringa, the likes of Parallel, and all that, and I4G, they are taking tech to the next, accessing technology information to the next level by providing short courses, boot camps, uh, and even mixing up tech people to like non-technical people to actually bridge the barrier that comes with technology. So I believe we're in the right course with more implementations on policies and different governments now realizing it's important to have tech in every other learning that is involved. Like I would speak about Kenya, where we are now having coding classes now being implemented in even in junior schools, which is very important growing up and building, because I believe one way or the other, most of the fields relate to tech, and tech is probably what we need going forward.
Wow, that was a very, very great insight there. I like it the way you just made it very clear that tech in Africa as a continent, we are worthy competitors in the tech space. We are worthy players in the space. And though we have our own challenges talking about things like infrastructures or and whatnot, but we are still trying. We are not just tech consumers, but we also create this technology um, which has been shaping economies and even beyond. So yeah, that was a great one, and I would want to ask uh, Zara the same question. So Zara, through your lens, can we have a snapshot of what the current tech state is in Africa, tech skill states is in Africa? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amen. I believe Moses was able to cover most of the points of tech skills in Africa. He was able to cover even what I would like to emphasize on is on the skill gap. The skill gap is majorly was holding Africa back in competing with global talent. And we understand there are a lot of challenges contributing to Africans developing these skills in terms of infrastructure, as you also mentioned. But this is a gap that I believe with more intervention, and if it's being breached, is another factor that will allow Africa stand out among the tech and compete with other continents, I would say, with other global tech, known global tech competitors as equals. We also have, so through my lens, basically, I see it as a growing land with of opportunities. We also have the fact that Africa is
I can't hear you, Zara. Can't hear you. Okay, I want somebody to confirm to me if the problem is not from me. Moses, can you hear me?
Yeah. We lost her a bit. I
Yeah,
think we can't hear her. Yeah.
yes, we've lost her, but she said something very important before she left. We might have a gap between us and other part of the world, but if you look at the way um, the technological skills within Africans is growing exponentially, you would get to realize that if we hold up to that pace, in no time we'll be able to bridge the gap that is in between. And Africans are already out there making histories in the world, defining the odds for themselves, changing the narrative, which is a great motivation for each and every one of us here. So we've been talking about challenges. So alongside challenges, we also have opportunities. Looking at it from one end, you see the challenges, and looking at it from the other end, you see opportunities. So yeah, let's look at some challenges we have, Moses. Despite the fact that we are doing very good, I know we definitely have challenges, and alongside those challenges are opportunities. So let's start with the challenges. um, we have some challenges here in Africa, challenges like infrastructural challenges and maybe emerging technology. Talking about this infrastructural challenges, I'm a victim because the other day I wanted to create an AWS account, to use one of the cloud services provided by AWS, and sadly I could not do that. Why? Simply because I am from Nigeria, and the payment system it's not compatible with our own Nigerian system, the Nigerian payment system in place. In other words, we've been restricted from making payments to these services we can consume, which are basically infrastructures. So yeah, I'm a first-hand victim of this, problem, challenge of um what do you call it, infrastructure. And maybe you all have also experienced something like that. So I want to hear from Moses. I want you to talk specifically about this infrastructural challenge we face here in Africa and how it has affected you.
Uh, Personally, developing most applications and using cloud servers and all that was a problem because uh, most of it is normally so in terms of payment, just like you mentioned, it's really difficult using our mobile money transfers or our mobile money transaction systems because what's available is applications like PayPal, applications like Pioneer, which we can't use because of probably the infrastructure they are built on is mostly for the European or Americas or probably Asian countries, but not really for Africa. And even people have had problems with PayPal and all that. So it's completely discouraging to actually, as a developer, pay up for maybe cloud service storage or even pay for Firebase or any other thing. Another thing is in terms of infrastructure, I believe there's not so much information when it comes to uh, how best to use some of the resources that are available to the techpreneurs or people that are probably building tech products. One would be you might be thinking of maybe deploying your application on DigitalOcean and then thinking, okay, why should I be using DigitalOcean or Google Cloud? What's the difference and all that? Or probably what makes it much more easier and all that. You when you go to YouTube, it's mostly so you find people that explain it, but it's mostly people that are either explaining it in India or we have people that are probably in the US and they're explaining it from their own side. How probably you'll have maybe the server. So if you look at something like I think it's Azure, Microsoft Azure. If it's not Azure, it's AWS. So if the containers, if you look at the containers you'd use, they would ask you to choose a server. So the servers are mostly in the US. So there's not really a server for Africa, I would say, like in an African country. So you'd find you either choose a server from the US, or you choose a server from Asia, or you choose a server that's not probably here, and that affects probably the runtime of your application when people are accessing your application for it to be better and all that. And even if we have even if we have the even if we have all these cloud providers in Africa, I know of some cloud providers in Africa, there's still the problem of the cost itself, being able to afford the costs that are involved with in terms of the hosting bit, the domains, and all that. It becomes very expensive. So that becomes also a problem to all of us, and also just staying up to date with some of the infrastructure resources that's available for most of this technology is a problem. We're more of like consumers. So what we get is more of like after maybe some people have tried it out. So if you look at something uh like Grok that was released by Elon, so it's not available in Africa. You have to like join the wait list, and people in the US can actually access it. So there was a period of time it was not like available, so we had to like join the wait list. And the same happened to Bard, and the same happened to ChatGPT. So some of the resources that are available, we are more of like second-hand consumers. We are more like receiving it after a period of time. So that makes it very hard for us to stay uh, in sync or in the lead if that is what we really want to do. So it's a bit of a problem because some of the resources that's available to us, we are able to like receive it after other people receiving them. So even if it comes to technological advancement, then it becomes also a problem because what we might be thinking of might have already been thought of when people were using the application beforehand. So it's really a problem across the board, developing wise and also like just uh using the available infrastructure.
Yeah, that's quite important. You made mention of some points I wasn't even expecting you to make, which are important to the overall aim of this topic. I'm talking from experience. I think once upon a time I wanted to host an application, back end system on Render, and then the closest server I could find was a server in Frankfurt, which is Germany. And then, that, as you said, cut long story short, has affected, the runtime, how the response time of my server, which was unfortunate. And if you look at other things like CDN, most of them you can't really find them in your local areas or geographical locations. You have to, wait for that, requests to go to the other parts of the world, which create longer response time and, more latency, sadly. And you talk about price, which is very important. You see, some to be able to have access to these things, you need money, and, money is a big challenge for a lot of people. So that should not be left aside. Money is definitely a challenge, and maybe in the future we can be able to see how tech or all the skills can be monetized and create this money, which has been challenged for people for such a long time. So yeah, talking about emerging technology now, I want to turn to Zara. And Zara, I would want you to tell us a little bit about emerging technology. I know you are a HR specialist, and at times you have employers telling you that, okay, we need this sets of technology in a candidate, and maybe you must have paid attention to how this set of technologies change in a very short frame of time, which means, technology is revolutionizing real quickly, quicker than ever. So what do you think, how is this a challenge in emerging technology? How is it a challenge to people in the tech ecosystem, not necessarily developers or software engineers?
Okay, I get that point. So, from my own standpoint, sorry for earlier, those network issues, but going on, my own issue dealing with the emerging tech skills has been an issue because frequently a new skill is being requested and you are not getting enough people, there are not enough professionals being fully skilled and able to provide the services you need of that skills, the full requirement of that skills. And this is also because of the emerging technology. So to this, there are also challenges I believe tech professionals face in terms of some of the professionals I've related to, which, as you said, they are cost factor, the fact that they are not able to actually boost themselves up with these skills because of the cost. The keeping up and not actually getting what you want is also something that is frustrating because you are trying, but because of your location, you are being restricted. You are not able to get your full expectation, and you are just limited maybe by continent now in this aspect. So it's also a major problem, which cause a drawback in tech interest, which I've seen most of the times also. Then we are also faced. Then we are also faced with the. Okay, I've covered that. Then, what these are basically the things we face and the challenges we face while recruiting talent when their skills are constantly changing. Those are the talents challenges we have faced so far, and there are gaps we are still hoping to close. Because I won't say there's a fixed way already to close these gaps, as we cannot provide solutions directly to all these problems. So it's also something I will look forward to hear more light on.
Yeah, great.
So
You said something that I like telling stories. Yeah, I can resonate with that. Talking about some of these new technologies, how expensive they are. Still talking about money, right? Money in conjunction with emerging technologies. I think I once saw an AWS course, certificate course, which costs around 16,000 US dollars, which is astronomically high and crazy, right? Not even here in other part of the country, not everyone can afford it. So yeah, there is financial challenges. There are financial challenges. There are emerging technology challenges with infrastructures and whatnot. So on the other hand, let's quickly talk about opportunities. You know, while emerging technology can be a challenge, it can also be an opportunity. As I said earlier, it all depends on the angle you look at it from. So let's look at emerging technology from the angle of opportunities. It could be an opportunity. Say, for instance, somebody has this set of skills that are not technical. Say, for instance, you are a painter, or yes, you are a painter. You are very good with colors, but then tech gradually starts to overlap into your sector, into your domain. So it would be an opportunity for you to embrace this Am I
Hello.
audible?
Yes, we can. Yes,
So
we can hear you.
it would be an opportunity. Okay. It will be an opportunity for us to embrace this tech skills and add them with what we've already known in that sector, which would make us a very valuable candidate to stand out. We will help Am I audible?
Yes, we can
Hello.
now hear you.
Sorry, I'm getting interrupted over here. So yeah, real quick, I want you to talk, Zara, again. I want you to talk about emerging technology as an opportunity, real quick, please.
okay, considering emerging technologies as an opportunity, I think being able to keep up with this, keep and embrace the fact that yes, this is something that is here to stay, will give you that one foot forward in your career and general aspect of how you look at things. Tech is not tech is a provides diversified opportunities in terms of it can be related to plenty sectors. It can be used in tech, fintech, that's in the financial sector, which we all know with the likes of we have like the money point, stack, which we know, agro tech also. So for the fact that it's emerging, it allows you to embrace it and be one step forward and efficiently provide better services. That's one aspect. It also allows you to develop being Africa being backward again is another way to look at it as your one push to go forward. You might just come up and learn the latest skills with experience, and you find that you are already able to meet up with the expectation. This can be used as an opportunity. So instead of just struggling, it's opening opportunity to various aspects that you might have not thought of before, various aspects you can build yourself in and build a career. So that's also another aspect. And it's also giving rise, I'll say, to entrepreneurship and innovative opportunities in terms of you being able to study your environment with the emerging tech. You are able to understand and create something that is suitable for both you, your environment, depending on your environment, and more useful to you. So it's also giving an opportunity for you to grow in that aspect too.
Yeah, I understand. This is a very interesting topic. We can go on and on, right? And
Yes.
time is a constraint, so it's just like we are, given a pitch, touching, with as many places as we can. So yeah, you talked about, imagine technology as an opportunity, which truly it is, and that was what I was trying to explain before I got interrupted. So let's talk about global collaboration. As an opportunity, global collaboration. Moses, when you and I were having conversation, I think a day before yesterday, we talk about, things like, hackathon, where you participate with other people from different part of the country, Brazil included, which is, oh, is Moses here?
Yes. Maybe just to add up is on in terms of what you said in terms of embracing technology and seeing how it can actually align with whatever it is you're doing. So in its profession, if it's probably painting better, probably creating better images, can you be able to find a way to probably maybe create your own images, so you add maybe your own imagination? So probably it's mid journey, and it's doing most of the animations and all that, and you're probably an animator, so you give it more of like your thought, something you think about, and then probably sell all that, or just do something that enables you just fit in and probably not lose your job. So it's more of like aligning with new technologies and uh, finding the opportunities for yourself.
So yeah, thank you. Real quick, I'm talking about global collaboration. That's exactly what I want you to talk on in 1 minute, please. From your experience, you and I have had a call, I think a day before yesterday, and we've had a very, a good conversation, and a very educational one that I really enjoy. So maybe you would want to share with them, how technology has been an opportunity for you to interact with people even across your horizon, creating this kind of unique diversity where you have a very complete society, with each person coming with a different set of skill that foster growth. So, real quick, what do you want to tell us about that? And after that, I would want you to talk about monetary value. It's very important in this world. Most of the things we are doing come down to how much we making money. So I want you to also touch on that real quick in 2 minutes. All. Thank you.
Yeah. So in terms of what tech has done for me and connected me to like the world, I would say building my first product. So when I stopped working for a company, the company in Tanzania, I decided to build my own product. So we went to a hackathon, and we were like four countries. So there was Kenya, there was Nigeria, there was USA, and there was Brazil. And after the hackathon, so we became second runners up, and from that we got numerous opportunities from networking with different founders. So we became first runners up, sorry. And that showed that Africa actually has potential, because we beat teams from the US, other teams from Brazil, and that just showed you how much potential there is in Africa, and how much we can do and compete outside here. So we connected with various founders across the world, and I believe you me, uh, if we have as much resources as they have, Africa can be totally at a different level, because the thinking and probably the information that we have received over the years from books and all that, it is probably more than what they actually have. So having interactions with basically tech builders and techpreneurs, uh, joining. So we joined an organization called Impact Plus with our startup, and we've received insights from mentors to other founders, and the peer-to-peer learning has really made me realize how much we have as a continent in terms of skill set. So working across with different Africans. So we actually have uh, some members of our team are from Nigeria, we have some from South Africa, and collaborating across different areas, I believe has really like helped us grow, because initially we were thinking, okay, let's build fast in Kenya and then let's grow that, and probably think maybe after 2 or 3 years think of expanding to other countries. But when we realized the opportunities also available in other countries, what we needed is probably to have like branch branch bits of our startup in different areas. So we specifically went with the internet, with social media platforms like WhatsApp, like LinkedIn. We were able to connect with different Africans, and not just Africa, but even in Asia, connect with different people, and start part of our businesses in those respective countries and make it work. Because something about software and technological products is once it's online, anywhere in the world can access it. So that shows you the power with tech products. It's not really like a supply chain product, probably it'd be soap or something that you need to like ship before it actually
Moses,
gets approved. With
it, it, it
software,
would it would
yeah.
be very painful to cut you off because each and every word you
No, it's
say
okay.
is
Yeah,
making sense, but time is our great enemy today. So we are trying to cover to touch as many
yeah.
things on the superficial level as we can before the time elapses. So real quick, I still want to ask you a question. I want you to use 30 seconds to tell us about monetary values in tech.
So monetary values in regards to employment, it depends with where you work for or who you work with. So there's freelancing. You can do freelancing. Freelancing pays a lot, because at the end of the day, you're not really under a tight schedule. You can take as many jobs as you want to. So there's the payment bit. It's fair enough for employment. You won't really get so much in employment unless you're a senior at a senior level. So you're probably a senior software engineer or a senior mobile engineer. But freelancing can be another option which you can look into. In regards to startups, it depends again with where the level of your startup is at. So starting off, it's really difficult. Paying yourself actually a very good salary, because most of the money is going to go into cost in terms of your product deployment, and paying and probably marketing of your product. But as soon as you go into the growth stage, then it becomes rewardingly paying, because you can be able to get a lot with subscriptions, with advertisement, and probably you have other revenue sources.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's exactly what I was looking for. It all depends on where you work and the kind of works you do in tech. But definitely in tech there is a lot of money. If you work in tech, you'll be able to you get to make a lot of money when you put the right amount of work and have the right network. Networking is very important. So real quick, I want us to talk about how can we acquire knowledge to get ourselves educated, and how can we get the skills we are talking about that would help us make this cool money and build this great network of people from different part of the world, and and even do more than that. So yeah, there are this innovation methods and programs I would want us to talk about. Number one, there is hackathon, there is bootcamp, and there is webinar, which is exactly what we are doing now. So okay, who should I talk to? Okay, let me talk to Zara. Zara, I want you to just tell us something about how important are hackathon, boot camps, and things like webinars. That's what we are doing right now.
Okay, so I'm going to add the networking and other aspect also. It's really important to keep in touch with the community, that's the tech community, as you are going on in your career, because not only do they guide you, like now you just received guidance from Moses from his experience, which made it a lot easier and able to give you a better view of what next to do. So that is also an option. Then you also have, you can go, these hackathons also create avenue for mentorship. So it's highly recommended for you to be part of something like that to boost your skills also. Then we also have the likes of innovation hubs, which gather talents and try to build them. And being in that community also allows you to build your skills, learn more, and they also provide guidance. Like I know for the likes of Decagon and uh, even collab is also an example I can use because it reduces um, your own cost in terms of providing some of the infrastructural needs you need to boost your skills. So being also in that type of environment is also something I would recommend for you as a tech professional to continue being involved with to boost yourself and boost your career as a whole.
Thank you. You've added a lot of spices to that, and I really love the way it tastes. You've talked about things I wasn't even able to cover, things like incubation centers and tech hubs, and how things like hackathon can be a way for you to be able to get a mentor that will push you through. And what we are basically saying is that it is important, it is imperative for anybody that's trying to thrive in this world of technology to immerse himself completely into this world and surround himself by people that are very much technologically oriented that would push him through. So yeah, I like saying this. I always use it as a reference, also as a quote that is a well-worn quote for me. That when you find yourself to be the best person in the room, then you are probably in the wrong room. So yeah, engage with people that are ahead of you technologically. That way you would get to learn and do better in the world of technology. So yes, Moses, happy Moses. I want you to talk about industry engagement, because uh, other things we haven't talked about right now, these are just like programs. So if we are looking at it from a bigger scale, now we are talking about it from the industry point of view, where we have things like internships and job creation. So I want you to talk about that. How are those things important for us as people that want to improve our skills technologically, and how can we leverage that to you know keep ourselves in sync with the revolutionizing technology.
Yeah. So industry engagement is really important in the sense that building tech products when working for maybe a company is totally different from building your own tech product. With companies, there's a lot of thinking in place. So I probably need to get so good with things like agile or maybe project management softwares that would help you align with maybe meeting deadlines or maybe documentations of applications uh, or APIs and all that. So there's a lot in terms of internships and all that, and just brings you to more of like I would say more thinking because now you know how real large scale products are actually built. So it's totally different from like what you do. And then you now realize that building a product is not just you alone, but you have to collaborate with different people to be able to actually get the different bits together and even much more better for easier working out. So it's a lot, but project management is really key for you because you're going to work with the project manager hand in hand, showcasing your progress daily. Probably like with HESA, we used to show how much work or how much of what we have done throughout the day. So we like do it with the project manager, and then we have like KPIs for the next day. So there's a lot with the industry, but again, it comes in with internships and all that.
Yeah, that was very good. To wrap it all completely from what she said to what you say. So initially, as a starter, if you want to learn a new skill, that's what you do. Maybe you start with the documentation. Go there, read about the documentation. Then you might be interested in watching some videos. Maybe you are a type that learn more when you watch videos. So yeah, there are tons of videos on YouTube. You go there, you watch the videos, and then you can join bootcamp, which is very effective. So when you join bootcamp, you have the necessary skill required for you to start applying for internships or jobs, depending on the kind of job or the kind of internship or the kind of opportunity that comes your way. So when you have those things, or say for instance, aside this, you can be a self-taught what's it called, developer, or whatever you are doing in tech industry. You might not necessarily go through boot camps, but you can go through self-taughts and teach yourself. And then at a particular altitude, you feel that okay, this is the right time for me to start applying for jobs and internships, because these things will give you the real world experience out there. Because Moses said it's not what you did alone at home. The projects you did matter, but not a lot. What really matters to the world is the project that many great people collaborated on, and those are the kind of projects that change the world. So yeah, basically that's how to acquire the skills for anyone that might need something like a roadmap. So finally, and this is one of my most interesting part whenever I am holding anything like this, is something that has to do with imagination, and innovation. So I want each and every one of you as the speaker, starting from Moses now, to give us, a vision of what the tech market or the tech ecosystem in Africa would look like from the year 2024 and beyond. Suppose people that are listening to us today have made it in their mind that they want to implement all these things we've talked about. They want to put in place all the necessary practice in order to achieve the desirable result. How do you see Africa through your lens in 2024 and beyond?
So I would say I would say we have a lot in terms of potential in Africa to be able to not just consume tech but build our own tech. So we need to find where the gaps are. So these gaps would be mostly with the government or with regulation. So we have to be at the forefront of policy making. If it's technology like blockchain, can we be at the forefront of actually making policies so that they can, because we know in one way or the other they're going to affect us. So we need to be at the forefront of everything in terms of policies, in terms of acquiring tech, in terms of building on hackathons and all that. And if we're able to do that together, then we can actually be tech leaders because we have the potential in terms of the resources that we can access right now. So if the thing that's probably lacking is uh, our governments working together and probably finding a framework. There was a suggestion so we were meeting some people from Microsoft and probably all like tech leaders. It was an event, and something that happens with EU is that once you get a passport in probably Britain or any other country, you can travel across EU. Like that passport is approved in countries across EU, as opposed to like Africa, where like if you get a passport from Kenya, it's probably not a passport that goes to Nigeria. It probably goes to South Africa. So it's totally different. And the same happens with policies in terms of technology. So you might find Nigeria, like the other day, Nigeria is approving the CBK the CBK, which is like a central bank, uh, like from Nigeria is approving the issue of stable coins or the building of stable coins or yeah, something like that. But now with Kenya, we are very backward in terms of like crypto regulation. So we have like the first bill going to parliament. So you see the difference. It's really hard for like a startup from Nigeria coming into Kenya because they'll be facing a lot of challenges in terms of licensing. And the same happens with Tanzania, and the same happens with Zambia. So if we could have more of like a common platform where in terms of technology, in terms of new technologies, in terms of like policies that enhance tech or resources, if they are available, then it's shared across different African countries. Then we can be able to build a much better Africa with technology and probably even be leading across the world.
Yeah, that's great, and I feel one thing, if I were to be able to speak for you, is that you call on governments and other stakeholders to look at technology with a keener mind and see that this thing is here to stay, and it's already revolutionizing economies. People on countries are doing better because of technology, and then they should embrace this technology and put the necessary processes in place to attain that height. And that was a very glad tidings to me when I realized that Nigeria have now raised the ban on cryptocurrencies, and now we can transact it directly from bank. That was a great tidings because I believe it will open a lot of doors for Nigerians, and I hope other governments within Africa too will do the same. So yeah, now talking to Zara. Zara, what do you see Africa as a whole? How do you see Africa? Show us. We want to see it through your insightful lens, how Africa would look like in the year 2024 and beyond.
Okay. As I mentioned, taking from my field of human resources, I believe I've mentioned it. Africa has the human capabilities to boost and focus on tech and develop more on tech. And in 2024, with the tech boom awareness we have right now, I'll say in Nigeria, which I'll use for example, not only Africa as a whole, we have governments adding initiatives to engage tech to most youths with the NITDA program, which is I believe you know it. That's the MTT, I think. It also partner with Cisco to teach youths skills on tech. This to show that it's accepting tech and creating more awareness that it's open to develop more on its tech abilities. So with those put in place, I believe is going to be a better by 2024 ending, we are going to be in a better state of accepting tech and being in with better capabilities, and also with these incubators, not only the incubators now, in terms of investments, we have collab also. I would like to make reference to who is bringing investment opportunity to giving tech startups investment opportunity. This also is something that is creating more innovation among tech professionals and boosting the entrepreneurship um, morale, say, in the tech professionals, and allowing them to also see that yes, there's a possibility, there's a future in this, and allowing them to create. So going on this track we are going, I believe by 2024 we will be able to say yes, we have more tech creators in we have more people involved in tech. Tech is not just a foreign aspect anymore. It's something that is more engaged with, and
Yeah,
we'll have more tech leaders.
yeah,
So that
definitely.
was it.
What Zara is saying is that, she says, looking at the way African countries and Nigeria are having this exponential growth in this tech ecosystem, if we are to continue like this, with say, I want to talk about Nigeria specifically, with organizations like NIDA and Cisco collaborating with federal government, creating this awareness and infusing this knowledge, inculcating it into the heads of their citizens, we would be in a better state to compete in the world, to be more worthy in the world of competitive technology, which is very important. And I feel if I were to have the opportunity to speak for her, is and give you all the actors, that's the people that want to take part into this, and advice is that you guys should go out there and take advantage of those opportunities the government are creating for you. There are tons of opportunities now government are creating for tech starters. Just go out there, look for what works for you, and then start it. I promise you, you are not going to regret it, because tech is here to stay forever. So yeah, with this, I want us to quickly answer questions from audience. I'm sorry, I should have said this I think a couple of minutes ago, so the audience can drop their questions in the message box. But it's still not too late. Let's entertain like two, three questions, and then we call it a day. So please feel free to engage with the comment section, with the message box, the audience. We would appreciate your questions. So yes, definitely would appreciate your questions. Please keep dropping questions in the tech box. So as you are dropping questions, as yes, you are dropping questions, I would, though we don't even have anything in agenda, I believe we've covered everything. That's why I say I should have said this earlier on. As we are dropping the questions, I would just ask Moses to give an advice, to you listening to this session. What advice do you have, Moses, for them, people that want to start joining the tech ecosystem, that want to start a career in tech, or people that are already in tech but want to improve themselves? Do you have any advice for them?
I think with tech, it's more of consistency, staying up to date with relevant information, following up information on social media. I think that's the only way you can actually stay relevant with what's available in tech. If you're in school, it's pretty much hard because what we're taught is mostly what's approved in our educational system. Our curriculums are pretty much outdated. So by staying informed, following tech leaders, uh, following platforms that offer one in one way or the other the tech resource, then you're able to actually stay consistent and also like stay with with the rest in terms of like technological advancement and all that.
Yeah, short and important. I really like the point you make. Keep yourself updated. Information is very expensive. It's priceless. If you have the information, you can get there. So, Anzara, I don't know if you have any bonus tip for us. Say, for instance, for the people that want to start applying for job now, that feel okay, we're in a state that we want to start applying for jobs and internship. So as a HR specialist, what advice would you give them? Maybe regarding resume or anything like that, cover letter or anything that will make them stand out in general.
Okay, so in terms of tech professionals, what makes you stand out? I would say a good resume. I'm not going to go deep on resume because we are not time is not by our side. But I would say draft your resume clearly stating even your projects. This is your only means of introducing yourself to the recruiter or to the company as a whole. So I believe you want to give it your all. Draft it in a way that is very presentable and you feel will represent you because you are not meeting this recruiter directly. So that's your resume has to speak for you in the tone you want it to. So I'll say tailor your resume to what you are looking for. A cover letter is also advised in some companies don't even regard cover letters anymore. But if it's needed in place where it's needed, be sure to add it. Then we have networking. Networking also goes a long way. Networking, connecting with not only tech talents but also recruiters, and in some case, if you have draw your roadmap and you know where you want to go, you want to engage in working with startups, you know how you try to reach out to them. Some startups don't have HR department, so you can also reach out to some of the startups head like the COO, and it also works. So that's that also. Then your soft skills, it also matters because in as much as your skills can speak for you in some places, how you communicate those skills actually means a lot in the long way for you. Then I also like to add, okay, earlier Moses mentioned contributing to project. That's also good. And in terms of internship, many times we have people that are coming into tech and just thinking they are making going to make money immediately. No, it's not like that. You have to get that mindset that sometimes you're building your own experience. You just don't finish learning, let's say, a course on Coursera and think you are ready for a senior manager position. That's that may be your goal, but you have to walk your steps to reach there. So collaborate, do the freelancing. You might even be working and actually do those freelancing to boost your skills. Collaborate on some projects, take on some projects. The internship, not all are paid. I would advise you to still take it because it builds you at the end of the day. You also gain experience and you are able to use those skills you learn. So those are
Yeah,
the brief tips I would say.
there's a lot of value in there, and I really like a lot of things you said. And thank goodness the session is recorded, some of which I cannot remember. You said something about soft skill, which I believe is very important. In addition to hard skills, you also need some set of soft skills. One of which is communication. Some people used to believe that, okay, if I'm very good technologically, I would be there doing my things, and the recruiters and the companies will find me out. That's not the case. You have to know how to sell yourself, which is very important, and it's a skill on its own. So, as a technologist or whoever you want to call yourself, you should also, go the extra miles and learn these soft skills, because without these soft skills, your the pace at which you move is going to be very, very slow. That's if you move at all. So very good. Soft skills is very important, and make connections not just with people that are technologically inclined, but with also people like HR. That's why I myself have seized the opportunity to meet connection with Zara, and that's one of the greatest things I've achieved this year so far, though the year is just starting. And she said something about technology and money. You learning the skills, you can't just say, okay, I want to jump into this and start earning one day. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to be willing to work for $0, willing to work for free, because technology is not, you're not earning from $10, $100. So no, you are starting from $0, then you start growing exponentially or geometrically, if that makes sense. So with this, I would want to call this to an end, and say a very big thank you to each and every one of you that participate in any big or small ways. The audience specifically, I thank you very much for joining, and I hope you really enjoyed the session. And also the panelists, the speakers, thank you for this wonderful insight you've contributed. Without you, this wouldn't have been a success. So thank you so much. And I also want to put a call to action to each and every one of us here that on the 28th of this month would be having another session. So I urge you all to join the call on the 28th of this month. Before then, we will inform you all through the channels we are used to informing you about the topic and all necessary things you need to know. So thank you so much.
Thank you.